This is the Star Wars X-Wing of the Rebel Alliance, and this is the TIE Fighter of the Galactic Empire, two of the most famous ships in modern media, and today we're going to be pitting them one-on-one. First, let's talk about their specs. The T-65B X-Wing costs 150,000 credits. With this, you get a starfighter with 4 Tamenbach laser cannons plus 2 proton torpedo launchers with 6 torpedoes each. The starfighter sports its own personal shield for protection, hyperdrive for long-range missions, in addition to an astromech droid for navigation and repairs. This fighter is pretty fast, with a high top speed and acceleration. In contrast, the TIE LN Starfighter costs 60,000 credits, almost 1/3 the cost of the X-Wing, sporting 2 light laser cannons, and an even higher top speed plus acceleration. So overall, the X-Wing has quite a few more features over the TIE Fighter. But in the micro, there are some small things the TIE Fighter might have over the X-Wing, such as the closer together laser cannons to focus fire on a single target, the more deadly green plasma bolts it uses, and especially the increased maneuverability. But overall, the X-Wing has the more extensive feature set, being more of a multi-role fighter, having everything you can ask for, while the TIE seems to be more dedicated to just its main firepower-focused role. Now, in most typical Star Wars scenarios, both fighters are used in different manners. The X-Wing is typically used as an offensive, space superiority, quality over quantity starfighter. While on the other hand, the TIE Fighter is quite the opposite, being used in more defensive, swarm tactic, quantity over quality manners, and both of which should really succeed in these functions. It's just that the good guys tend to win due to Star Wars stories typically being about happy victories. But even with that said, in addition to these spec and doctrine differences, I think much of the X-Wing wins can be chalked up to the experience levels of the pilots. You see, although the Imperial Navy is majority elite, the Rebel troops are also elite, in addition to likely being more experienced, because they're on the field fighting more often than the average Imperial. I mean, think about it. The Empire controls vast territories, of which billions of TIE fighters are used to defend. Some troops will be experienced, and probably many others will not. Eventually, the Rebels will level up quite a bit after all of those kills on low-level Imperials, while the Imperials on backwater planets just sit there waiting until they finally get their first bit of action. Typically, the Rebels will fight in hit-and-run tactics, jumping in and out of hyperspace to fight quick battles before the enemy can even mobilize their troops. So that means the Rebels will rack up so many more kills than the Imps over a long period of time. On the other hand, the Imperial TIE Fighter attack strategy is to overwhelm the enemy with far superior numbers. Given how TIEs are almost 1/3 the price of X-Wings, you can possibly see 3 times the number of TIEs present in a given battle. If the Imperials are able to mobilize their troops quick enough, a massive swarm of TIEs will be extremely difficult for the X-Wings to evade. But taking a look at a one-on-one scenario, this is likely what will happen. Typically, the TIE Fighters, combined with their poor visibility, lack of shielding, lack of astromech for repairs, and lower firepower compared to the X-Wing overall, will have a tough time against the Rebel fighter. X-Wings are just super solid, literally, with their added shield for protection and astromech for emergency repairs. One-on-one, the X-Wing likely will win, but the TIE does have one ace up its sleeve. It's more maneuverable, so it can reposition itself to attack the X-Wing if it's in a pickle. Meaning, yeah, the TIE Fighter can still best an X-Wing if the TIE has a cunning pilot, which most often than not, whether due to plot conveniences or my headcanon lore, is not usually the case. Sometimes in games such as Empire at War or Star Wars Battlefront, you can see TIEs besting X-Wings on occasion, but that's usually dependent on how many fighters are in its swarm, as intended. Typically though, the Rebel Alliance will be victorious in a one-on-one scenario. So overall, the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter is a pretty easy matchup. On a one-on-one fight, the X-Wing will likely win due to the pilot's veterancy and experience, in addition to the fighter's added shields, firepower, and repairability from the astromech. Even still, the TIE Fighter pilot with the fighter's better maneuverability, in addition to a few other features, may give that X-Wing a run for its money. Thanks for watching. You can see both of these fighters in action in my Star Wars gaming series, Empire at War, but it's realistic. My name is Cyrus. It's spelled like Cyrus, but not like C Rooster, just take out the tur. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.